So it sounds like in those first 2 years, what the coach is doing is looking for the people that are naturally better at the shorter distances, the track stuff, or at least just helping to use that to segregate people so that they can then specialize. No?
No.
Okay, well then I
No, that's
misinterpreted
not.
that. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, what I'm saying is that that would be the ideal,
hmm
and I think that happens in basically
And no program.
in virtually no programs is that happening.
Okay.
But I do think that would
Yeah.
be the ideal
Well,
is
let me tell
if
you
that
what it was
happened.
going on in my mind as you were describing that, and maybe this is why I misinterpreted things a little bit. But in triathlon, a triathlon is a run, bike, and swim. But it could be something else.
Oh,
And
wow.
winter triathlons can be snowshoe, cross country ski, and dog sledding.
Okay.
It's very flexible in that there are sanctioned races by USA Triathlon, and there are several other corporations, World Triathlon Corporation, and then there's the ITU Racing Circuit, where there are, specific distances and competitions for prize money. But on a much lighter level, a triathlon coming into the sport as the first year triathlete, we could say as a freshman, there are really no rules. I mean, it's as they're adults usually coming into the sport. Most often, a lot of people arrive at triathlon after maybe they've had a running career and now their knees or their hips are bothering them, or maybe they don't have time to do their 20-mile weekend runs or whatever it was that they had been doing. So people come to triathlon usually as an adult, usually out of college, and are looking for where they fit in. So one of the things that I think is important is that you fit in wherever you are right now. There's no standard that you have to live up to. And if you're doing your first year of triathlon and you try your first sprint and you think that was a lot of fun and you try an Olympic and that was a lot of fun, some people feel like they have to go to the longer distances. I have to do a half Ironman or I have to do an Ironman or else I'm not a triathlete. And I'm not sure how familiar you are with the distances, but an Ironman triathlon is 140.6 miles total. And there's going to be some people who are naturally inclined to the shorter distances, if for no other reason than that's what their physiology and their muscle makeup and their personality matches. Some people like to go fast. They like to do hard training and they may be time limited. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with becoming a fast sprint distance triathlon racer. And I think that's real important for people to understand that there's no should in triathlon. There's nothing that you should do. It's whatever you want to make the sport out to be.
Yeah. I think what I see with the adult clients I coach is that sometimes they're so focused on marathon training, which does require these long runs on the weekends, and in an ideal world would require more mileage. And I've had a few very savvy athletes say, I want to run one marathon a year because the 16 weeks leading up to that are going to be intense, but I would rather run 5Ks and 10Ks the rest of the year. Or for a fit athlete, you can even run a half marathon and not have to do the same volume of training to run well. I know that in running, and I can assume in triathlon that this idea that the longest competitive distance is what everybody should be doing.
Right.
I think that's probably a problem that it would be great to correct. And I think you bring up a really good point about just people's normal disposition, their mental makeup. There's, just like you said, there's nothing wrong with being excited about going fast for a short amount of time. And it's not like the training is any less focused for that task.
Right, exactly. It's just specific.
We just think that the only people that are really trying hard are the people doing the longest event, and I don't think that's true. Well, one of my hardest working athletes that I coach online is somebody who just likes 5K road races. Will do a half marathon, will do a 10K, but he really wants to run the 5K fast. But the training he's doing is just as serious as any marathon athlete I coach.
Right. I think that's important for people to realize. You can take triathlon to whatever level that you personally feel it's going to fit into your life.
Right.
As a coach, I try to strive that balance is important, and everyone's going to have different priorities.
Right.
You even mentioned in your 5th year at CU, you were dating the woman who you later married, and that provided some social balance to your life, and yet you still performed better that year than any other year.
Yeah. Well, that was an interesting year too, where it definitely opened my eyes to. If I had a bad workout, I was too busy to dwell on it because I had to go grade papers, go study, or wanted to go have a meal with Laura. Now the asterisk is she lived with this guy, Chris Lear, who wrote that book.
Yeah.
So there were a couple of surreal times where we did the workout and he had written his notes and he had written like a rough draft of what he thought that workout was. He's like, Jay, how does this sound to you? And it was the craziest thing because he's standing near the head coach and the assistant coach, and I'm listening to, him read what their comments were about the workout. So that was pretty interesting. But just to go back to the important point, which is I've seen in athletes who have careers and especially who have children, that it's easier to blow off bad workouts. In the athletes I've coached that don't have one or both of those things going on, it's easier to really dwell on a bad workout and to let it influence the next workout, and to just not be in a very good mental state in between a bad workout and the next workout on tap.
That impacts the rest of your life.
Yeah,
if you're in a bad mood because you had a bad workout, your friends are going to be bummed out. They're not going to want to hang out with you.
Yeah,
and you're not going to be present for your job or your family or your spouse or whatever it is. I've personally, when I'm training the 3 different triathlon sports, swimming is probably by far and away the most satisfying to me, in that I have more consistently good swim sessions than I do run or bike sessions.
All right.
And so it almost doesn't matter what I do in the pool. I just feel so awesome when I'm in the pool. I'm enjoying it so much. And, a quote unquote bad swim for me still makes me feel great. And I'm happy to get in the pool again the next day and do something new or try the same thing again. But I can relate to the experience of a bad workout because of the 3 sports. Running is the one that I've always struggled with the most. And I feel like it's a constant project for me. I'm constantly working on my mobility. I'm constantly trying to balance cardiovascular fitness versus some of the run drills to get my coordination down. I'm not playing soccer or ultimate like I did when I was much younger, so the play aspect is gone. And so for me, when I think about, maybe I'll do that run that's on my training schedule for tomorrow, I have a whole day of anxiety leading up to it.
Right.
Like, how's it going to go? Is it going to be fun? Am I going to feel great afterwards? And, if I have that one really great run, I want to get that feeling back again, and I'm not always sure how to do that.
Yeah.
So I can appreciate both sides.